I said my computer is working really slow for some reason. Okay,
Oh,
you're good.
there we are. We're recording. All
Okay.
right. It is November 14th. I honest to God cannot even believe that this year is almost over. And there's a big goal date next week for a lot of people, November 22nd. And I just want to touch upon that briefly. I know some of you are fighting for it, and it might not make sense to you right now why you're kind of fighting for that date to be a 2018 lifetime, whatever. So basically, when you achieve diamond, you are kind of helping your team as well in terms of advancing as in like this entire company. And so when you do that on the 22nd, if you hold it through the end of the year, that also helps your entire team, helps us place in the company. So if you're shooting for that, personally, it's a great day to do it. If you lock in diamond on that day, you are a lifetime diamond. There is no such thing as holding it for 5 weeks to be a lifetime diamond. When you get into the star diamond ranks, that's when you really need to hold it for what's called 6 weeks. It's really 5 weeks from the day you hit. To be lifetime status. So if you're shooting for a star day, make sure that after you hit on that day that you're holding that lifetime momentum, because I don't know about you guys, but aside from like the stress of trying to push for certain goals and teams for the teams that are coasting through the holidays and are going to start their business in January. So this call is really about how we're going to do that as a team, some tips and suggestions for you as new coaches, as veteran coaches, and just a way for us to really maximize our businesses individually and grow as a team in the end of 2018. Because I know that when we all work together and when we encourage each other and when we're celebrating each other and when we're pushing for rank and when we're pushing for certain goals, that the energy is up on the team. The team culture is up, the relationships are building, success partners are forming, partnerships are forming, and it's just a lot of fun. So I'll say right now, like this team, Aspire Nation, for example, might like personally sponsored, we are not shooting for elite. It's so far off the map right now. So I don't want you guys to think like, oh, we're just doing this so we can get a title. Like, I want you guys to dig into the end of this year for your business, because it's going to set us up for huge growth in 2019. So we're talking a lot about that tonight. But when we talk about these, like when the leaders who host these calls talk about the call topics, it's kind of hard sometimes, because for me, I'm always like, well, there's new coaches who need this information, and there's veteran coaches who need more advanced information. But what we can all agree on right now is that we can all benefit from momentum in our business and energy in our business. And no matter where you are in your business, whether you started yesterday or you started 5 years ago, this call will hopefully be kind of like a jump off for you to keep doing that or to get started doing that for the remainder of this year and beyond. So why is building momentum right now crucial? Honestly, guys, if you step on the brakes right now in your business and you try to kick off a brand new energy, a brand new business on January 1st, you have missed the boat. We have a program coming out that Laura's going to talk to us about, some suggestions on how to launch it, but it launches December 4th. Okay. So what we're doing right now in conversations and things is going to be important for that launch in December, and connecting with tons of people in December to start with us on, I think it's January 14th. So all of this work, we have to be super proactive in where is my business going in December? What am I doing in December? What am I doing in January? And who am I talking to get on board? And how am I talking to those people to get them on board? So Laura's going to chat with us about that. But before we get there, I wanted to kind of just harp on that momentum concept a little bit more, because I know in each of our businesses, our momentum is going to look a little bit different. So new coaches sometimes are feeling like they just got started and they just can't get traction and they can't get momentum, and they give it 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and they're like, I can't do this. I stink at this. I'm out. Don't be that person, because you have to start planting the seeds at some point. No matter where you are in your business, if you've lost momentum, if you're not in the zone, you're feeling like, if you're a brand new coach, you have to just start by planting the seeds. And those are the connections and the conversations you're having with tons of people. So I want you guys to really, really focus on talking to more people this month and next month, not inviting them. There's on the new business activity tracker, there's an entire section for just starting new conversations. And I want you guys to do that separately from your invite section, because the more conversations that you're building and the more relationships you're building and the more you're just talking to people and you're not inviting them to anything and you're not jumping right into, hey, you make a great coach, you're going to have all of those people watching you for this major launch come December 4th and throughout December, so we kick off January 14th. So new coaches, give yourself time to get that momentum and start by planting those seeds in conversations. And then there are other coaches who start with a bang and they kill it and they have a great first month, great second month, and then crap happens the third month and they're like, I ran out of everyone to talk to. I can't do this anymore. My warm market is dried up after 2 months, and you start to get in your head. And you step away from the business, especially in these months, because you're like, you know what, it's holidays. I'm just going to, I didn't hit Success Club last month, so I don't give a rat's butt about it this month in December. Don't do it, because like we said, like, you have to keep that momentum going. Even if you feel like you don't have any, you have to be doing the work behind the scenes to really kick off your business in 2019 strong. The minute you step away from this and the minute you just rely on putting up a social media post each day, you're not doing the work, and it's going to kick you in the butt, and you're going to start to have to rebuild again in the new year when everyone who is putting in the work right now is getting the connections from the people who could have come to you, but you stopped inviting and you stopped having those conversations with them. So they went to someone else who was doing that. Don't be that person, right? Don't be the person to lose someone because they didn't know you were still doing it. And then there's, excuse me, I should have brought a water. And then there's another type of, like, why people slow down in their business around this season is because maybe you're pushing for that goal and you're going to hit it next week, or you've already hit your diamond goal or your star diamond goal or whatever that goal was for you, and you set a date because you hustled your butt off and you work and you work and you work, and next Thursday you hit that goal and then you're like, oh, that was great, I did it, and now you don't do anything. So you hit diamond next Thursday and then you're like, all right, good, hit my goal, gonna enjoy the holidays. Same thing. Like, you've got to keep that momentum going. So the work you're fighting for right now to hit that goal, do that work on Friday, on Thursday when you wake up as diamond, on Friday when you wake, the next day. Keep doing that work, because that's what's going to keep you gaining that momentum in your business and working beyond diamond, because diamond is just a stepping stone in your business, right? And so if you can achieve that diamond goal by doing that work, imagine if you just keep putting in that work each day. What I do also want to say is, before I get there, I just want to make sure I covered my points. So my point there is, your momentum in November and December is going to come from building relationships, okay? Work to hit Success Club this month, but as soon as you do it, and while you're doing it, increase the amount of conversations and connections you're having. I will talk about that in a little bit. The other thing I wanted to say, though, is regarding that burnout, this season, make sure you guys are focused on self-care. Like, it can get so easy to burn out when you're pushing for goals and things. So make sure that you have either business hours. If you are a mom and you feel yourself getting stressed because you're trying to be on your phone and be with your kid at the same time, acknowledge that. Put your phone down and set your business hours, because as long as you're doing focused work in that time and you're balancing it with your priorities and the things that you find joy in, you won't burn out as quickly. If you're trying to do this all day long, messaging people all day long, you're going to resent it come the holidays, because you're going to be so stressed about it. So find that happy medium, do the focused work, build lots of connections and start gaining the momentum for Transform 20. So Laura is going to speak with us about what she did with Lift 4, her plans for kind of talking about Transform 20 and how to hype it up. And we can kind of bounce off ideas as well when we hear from her.
Sorry. Okay, both my kids are like flipping out now.
Sorry, was that bad timing? We can jump to another topic if it's not.
No, I can move. I was just trying to like make some food because I'm fixated on it right now. And it is like, you know, this always falls right at bedtime for me. So, okay. So my idea, I was on a mastermind today, and we talked about like creating momentum for this launch of Transform 20. And I want to utilize the launch so badly because I did it really, really well with Lift 4. I started talking about it basically the first second I could talk about it, and started putting stuff about it in my stories, started sharing results that I, you know, saw from the test group. And I think it was like on July, it released. Do you guys remember when it released? I don't know. It released like early release was say July 1st. And by July 4th, I think I was at SC20. Like I had people lined up and ready to go. And that's where we need to be. Like this is my like only claim to fame. Carl Deichler called me on like July 3rd or whatever. So it was like you have the potential to create great momentum with a launch, especially something like Lift 4 was like, there are some transformation photos already coming out. Yep. But Lift 4 was so awesome to talk about because we're like, it's 4 days a week, you get some time off, blah, blah, blah. And like with Transform 20, it's 20 minutes a day. So we don't have the like, you know, it's only 4 days a week, but you have to go on the strong points that you know about the plan. The other thing to start doing is, and I'm going to I didn't have time to do it today, but I'm going to put together a Shaun T hybrid calendar. So there's basically 4 weeks between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so we could do like a month of Shaun workouts, so that every day in your stories, give him a little bit of Shaun and be like, this is why I love Shaun, or this is why I kind of hate him. And like, it's, you know, he makes me sweat so bad, but it's such a great workout. Or with Kelly, I'm sure he makes her pee her pants a lot. So this is how I modify or whatever. So it's just basically, we just all have to, I think, having like a plan and knowing that Christina Legato already has a picture. I know a few others I've seen in the last couple days, but start talking about it now, because you want time to hype it up. The reason I'm kind of have never been the greatest at like coach sneak peeks is because I start talking about it the day before. Like I'm not talking about it ahead of time. Well, if you can utilize the excitement of a launch coming and using the photos that come out, use the information we have. I just got a text from my husband on here somehow. That is how you're going to see these great numbers when there's pre-release. And then we're going to have these amazing rocking challenge groups come January. And then there's going to be FOMO, like everyone that early joins in December, when people are like, oh my God, I'm so hungover. It's January 1st. And I feel like shit, God, Laura is doing that group. And then you'll get all these signups in the beginning of January, right? Like you want to create the excitement around it. And that's all I did with Lift 4, and had such amazing turnout with that. It was the best I'd ever utilized a new program. And if you don't talk about it, if you don't try to excite people about it, then no one's going to know what's happening. And if you're late to the game, the hype will be gone, kind of, you know, like you got to utilize the hype of a new program coming out. Like it's available this day, and you know, we're all doing it together. You should join us, yada, yada, yada. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes, I would also say in terms of like your, and I'm sorry, I get distracted at one point, but in terms of your invite lists and stuff, like all like Transform 20 is sort of used right now. Like, for example, if you're pushing for a success club, like I'm inviting people to my Survive and Thrive group right now, but a lot of people are like, nah, not right now, maybe in the new year. That goes right on your Transform 20 invite list. Like all of these people who are saying not right now, that is like key for January 1st, 2019, because they're going to feel, holiday, blah, they're going to be ready in the new year. So make sure that your follow-up list is actually becoming a follow-up list and not just like something in your head where you're like, oh yeah, I talked to that person in October and he wasn't ready then. So be really structured and diligent about tracking. Oh, and what Dana said, everyone has 20 minutes. Are you chopping? What is that? Oh.
Me? I'm peeling carrots. Sorry.
I was like, what's happening?
They have to bake, so I need to get them cut.
Eat, girl, eat. But yes,
right,
20 minutes.
Annalisa?
Yeah.
Where are the or Laura, where are the Transform 20 transformation photos now? Are there any out yet?
Yeah, so there's some in the group that Liz and are you in that one, Annalisa? That like it's a transform
step by step.
Yeah. There's some in there.
Could we make a file of them in maybe in Aspire Nation or Empower Elite or something so we can all see those?
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be awesome because I want to start talking about that.
Yeah, I've seen some on Instagram. So what I did today is just share. So I try not to share other coaches who are like killer coaches because people are going to click on them and they're going to see how amazing they are and they were in the test group and whatever. So I might not tag those people, but I might, like today, I shared the Transform 20 video clip from Instagram into my stories. And it was like, do you guys love Shanti? Check out this video. And then my next slide was, do you want more information about our January group? And some people were like, heck yeah, hell yeah, no, Shanti scares me. So just starting conversations, using the polls in your Instagram stories to create conversation about Shanti, about programs people have done with Shanti, like, have you ever done T25? Yes, no. Love it or hate it? Yes, no. Get those conversations started so you can reach out and be like, hey, did you hear Shanti's new program is coming out in January and we're going to have a rocking group for it. Do you want to try another Shanti program? Other things that worked for Lift 4 with me was really establishing one of my big challenge group call to action posts. I made it very clear, 6 days a week, 20 minutes a day, bulleted points of what this program is. And a lot of people came to me for that one because they saw it really clear and it wasn't just like a home workout program that I don't know anything about and I have to commit to home workout, really clear use of a step, 20 minutes. I think weights are recommended. I don't know if they're required, but use the FAQ, figure out what it really looks like, and put it out there. I'm not saying write down the cost of a challenge pack on your post, but put out the details of I'm doing a 20-minute group with a support group starting January 14th. We're all starting this day one together. The energy is up, new year, new sweat, it's going to challenge you guys. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if you want to invite everyone you talk to Transform 20. That's a hard program. Shanti is going to be kicking our booties, but for your current challengers and for people who are already starting in the fitness game, this will be for them. So we'll have a massive team-wide Transform 20 collab for this kind of thing. Okay, that's all I wanted to say about that, I think.
And I was going to jump up. Definitely focus on your current challengers because a lot of them just love jumping into new stuff. They've been doing the same things over and over again. So this will re-engage those people who kind of fell the wayside. I had a lot of people start with Lift 4 and love it and then not do another round. And so I'm like, hello. So just a thought.
I'm looking at the FAQ right now, and I'm not seeing the specific dates for everything. Do you have those on the top of your head that you could just go over really quick?
I'm 99% sure it's December 4th is the launch date. And January 14th, there was a Shanti challenge group. So I believe that would be a prep week because as it went with Shift Shop, they did a prep week and we blew it and we started day one on their prep week and the workouts weren't actually launched. So actually, let me find that out.
So, but we can sign people up on the Transform 20 challenge packs on December 4th.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
But they
so
haven't
we'll-
released. Sorry, they haven't released any prices. I haven't seen that yet. They haven't actually.
I think it will vary on whether they buy a challenge pack, like if it comes with a step or how that's working. So,
Right. They
I'm
haven't.
sure-
They haven't actually released the challenge pack information yet.
Right. Yeah.
I assume it's going to be like 160 all access. It's definitely going to be like a promo month. And usually our programs, when they're on promo, come to 160. So you get your all access, but I don't know if that includes the step or not. This FAQ has the dates Corey just posted. Thank you, Corey. What'd you come up with in there, Corey? Unmute. Tell us what you saw.
You were right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, December
Did it
4th.
say? Okay, go ahead.
Well, it doesn't have that much information yet. Definitely no prices.
December
I
4th is
think
the
it's
launch
something
date. What about the, does it say when the programs actually launch on BOD?
So VIP Early Access January 14th, coming to BOD April 1st.
Okay, so January 14th. I just don't know if, yes, so I bet you prep week will start the 7th. Because if the programs are available on the 14th to play, then we'll do prep week like the 7th.
That's what 80-Day Obsession started on last year. So, and they had the prep week the week prior.
Perfect.
I think that's probably to be expected.
Yeah. Yeah, Shift Shop was a little weird because it like launched, I forget what we did. We messed up somehow, but that's okay. Anyway, yes. Basically, get everyone in December, in the first couple days of January, follow up with them, and then get them started January 7th for prep week with us, January 14th for the actual day one, where we will all die. A happy death, right?
Hey, I just want to throw in there a side note that remember you can reserve a step this month if you help at least one person in November. So you need at least 2 Success Club points to reserve a step. And from what I've seen in the roundtable, they only have, I think, 130,000, and they're basically expecting that we're going to have way bigger numbers, just like 80-Day Obsession. So you definitely want to snag that.
Yeah, it's fun to just get that. It doesn't mean you're going to get it for free. It means you have your name on the purchase option for that step. But it's kind of cool to just go all in on a program and not just be like, I'll just get it somewhere else. Like, go for it. Like, everyone can help one person this month. That's no issue. So make sure you do and get, how do you actually reserve the step? They're going to send us an email on like when it's available to us, as long as you already have Achieve Success Club 4 already, Katie, so you'll get an email. There was a date about when that is, but I'll keep you guys posted if I see it. Okay. What else did I want to say about that? We talked about, all previous customers, shooting an email. Do you guys know where to find, like, for you guys who have been in the business long enough to have a few customers and customer leads, like if you go into your customer in your Coach Online office and previous customers or customer list, and you can just download that, export that report, get everyone's information and shoot them a personalized email blast of, hey, this is what's going on. Do you want to be in the info group for this program that we're going to be kicking off in 2019? So get those things out early to people so you're not just emailing them to be like, it's enrollment day, are you ready to do this? Like, prep them, prime them, get them in the, it's called Step by Step Transform 20 info group. Kelsey Smith and Liz are kind of taking the lead on that. So get in there yourselves, understand it, get people excited about it, and just keep following up. That's the big one. More conversations, more follow-ups, and you should be good.
I feel like it would be fun to have a wake up early with our coffee on December 4th and have a share a card sending party. And we just have our like list ready.
I was like, who's tired? I have to, it takes me a
Me,
minute, I'm like
sorry.
scanning. I'm like, hey, Corey. Yeah, in an ideal world where we all have 27,000 people to send a share card to.
Obviously.
Love it. I know my brain was like squirrel brain, and I know there was another big point I wanted to make about that. What was it? Give me 1 minute.
So as far as the hybrid calendar goes, I know Laura mentioned it. So should we wait and like do a big group thing? Because I know I was talking to my challenge group and like a lot of people were already asking about it and talking about doing like a hybrid of some sort. So I wanted to see what kind of timing should we expect for the hybrid.
I can definitely share the calendar with everybody. I want to keep my, I want that to go in my regular wellness group. As much as I can, I want to try to keep things in one place because it is like, I just really suck when there's multiple groups and I stop posting in any of them. Any of the team is welcome to be in that. It's Dana and I are running it. If we want to, do height together, or you can just run it as your like challenge for the month in your regular challenge group. So it's kind of up to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I found this month too, because in Health Hustlers, I kind of talked about it. I think for me right now, I needed like just a mashup of stuff that I love and like get through the holidays. I'm doing like the Survive and Thrive group, which is a focus on the Shakeology, To Be mindset, and hybrid schedules and hybrid calendars in my Health Hustler group. And what I found is if we just keep kind of talking about Shanti, or like I do have Shanti in my hybrid, really focusing in on those days where I do a Shanti workout and just make your holiday season fun, consistent, do what you love, do what you find joy in. Don't stress too much about like everyone doing the same program. Just stay consistent in your fitness and hype up this Shanti focus somehow. So whatever that means to you guys. That's my personal advice. I don't want anyone to feel like they're stuck doing something in the next couple months and being tied to a schedule that doesn't work for them, but just being really consistent and finding joy in whatever you're doing.
And Elisa, would you mind sharing your hybrid in your team page?
Yeah, sure.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I actually found this amazing site, which I will share because it's where the calendar came from. And she had like a bajillion hybrid schedules. And the one I'm doing right now is a lot of 80-day obsession, hammer chisel, Shanti. I'll share it.
Just a random thought for this too. We could do, up until we like launch a hybrid calendar, do random like pop up, like who wants to join me for a Shanti week workout, on Saturday morning or something like that, and just pick the workout and ask who wants to join you to try it. Because if you have Beachbody On Demand customers that have never done a Shanti program before, it might kind of give them a feel if that's something they would actually want to partake in.
I love that. And even like Sundays are typically rest days, but if you can like convince people to do a 25-minute workout with you on a Zoom, I'd be up for like being a part of that. If we can get, first thing in the morning or something, so people are more apt to get involved. Cool. I like that idea. But yeah, just basically let's, as a team, and in your personal businesses, just like focus in on Shanti, find out who loves him, find out who's scared of him, find out who's got goals for 2019, those kinds of things, who's waiting for that to happen. That's what I wanted to say. So we're talking about this build up, December 4th launch, talking to all these people, nailing Success Club for December. And another tip on that is when you're talking to people who say they can't afford it, it's the holidays, but they really have wellness goals, you say, oh, awesome, ask your husband to talk to me. Ask your spouse to talk to me and put it under your Christmas tree. And people are like, oh yeah. So use that, guys. If people are saying they can't spend it on themselves, how bad do they want it? Are they willing to ask for it for Christmas? Is it a priority to them? So that's one way also to up your numbers in December, get people started with us in January. But the other thing, don't give up on Success Club right now. Like, it is still November. You still have goals. It is Thanksgiving, goal date advancement next week. So how do you maximize that while still talking about Transform 20? Have a plan right now, what you're inviting to right now. Maybe it's a 3-day refresh after Thanksgiving. Maybe it's our Survive and Thrive group with To Be mindset to get through the holidays and Shakeology. Find something to invite to that you are locking people in this month. And next week is Thanksgiving. So get your hustle on this weekend, like before people are like cooking dinners and making bacon pies and doing all the things that they're not thinking about messaging you about getting involved in a fitness program. So
Hey, Annalisa.
yeah.
I just wanted to add one thing about December, but I also thought you just said making bacon pies, not making/baking pies. And I was like,
Bacon
who makes
pie.
bacon pies? That sounds awesome. Give me the recipe.
Bacon pie.
Yeah. I'm gonna research that after anyways. So what don't be afraid. I was gonna say don't be afraid to use a little bit of strategy going into the new year as well, because a lot of times what I'll do is I'll have people who are set up for the next month. So let's say like right now, people who are saying I'll join in December. What I do if I'm like struggling for SC points in the current month is in that current month, I will say, hey, let's get your stuff ordered now. So that way you can be ready to go at the very beginning of December. So in December, don't be afraid after Christmas to message people and say, hey, let's get your stuff ordered right now. So that way you can get rocking immediately in the beginning of January. Because in January, like it's honestly, and I'm going to knock on wood because I'll probably stick my foot in my mouth about this. It's not very hard to hit SC in January. It's the easiest month out of any month of the year. So if you know that it's going to be easy for you, try to get a few of those people lined up at the end of December, and don't even like say it to them in December, like in the beginning of December, just after Christmas happens, message them and say, hey, we need to get your stuff ordered this week. So that way you can have it in the beginning. So I'm all about like the numbers and the strategy and stuff. So just don't be afraid to use strategy with that kind of thing. Cause it's not like duping anybody. It's just shifting them a little bit. So that way it makes it easier for you.
I love that because I remember clearly being maybe SC like 0 or 2 after Christmas and people jumping on. Like Christmas is on the 25th and the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, all this time where they're typically on vacation, off of work, they're at home doing nothing, they've got Christmas money to spend, they're ready to get involved in January, and they will get involved. So don't be afraid, like Kelly said, to reach out after Christmas during that week. At the same time,
I will say that Bethany on this call, you were one of those people last year. Sorry.
strategy. Don't you love talking strategy?
I was texting Bethany in the car driving from Vermont back to Charlotte, and before New Year's being like, let's get your stuff ordered. So Bethany, sorry about that. You were part of my strategy.
But look what happened. Now it's all good. It's all good. All worked out. Okay, so definitely keep inviting this month, guys. Find out what you're inviting to. The short programs, the focus on the Shakeology, get people beach bars, like think outside the box. Get your inactive coaches active with different product purchases. But for me, it was a lot easier to get people on the board with Shakeology right now than it is to dig in deep to a fitness program. So Shakeology and 2B Mindset might be a great way for you guys to focus on it. You're always welcome in our Survive and Thrive group or whatever. So, or everyone's running 2B groups. So wherever they will be supported, just know what you're inviting to. Keep inviting in November. Put bug in ear for December launch, and then go balls to the wall with Transform 20. All right. Whenever there's a new launch, embrace it. Beachbody is giving us an alley-oop in our business every time they launch a program or a product. It is like, throwing us a lob ball to hit the home run out of the park. So make sure that you wrap your head around your plan. So Dana, you want to just briefly talk with us about the Go for No and the kind of combating objections this month?
Yeah, I do. I wanted to add to something that you talked about at the beginning of the call, because you were talking a lot about new coaches, like having that fortitude to like keep showing up after the first like few months where you have success. And then also about like coaches kind of digging in if they've been struggling. But I wanted to say too, if you're an older coach and you had kind of stepped back, or if you're like me and life happened where I stripped my business down for a good 4 months to like bare bones, you might be feeling like it's a struggle right now to kind of regain your momentum back. And I just like wanted to stress how important the mindset is that you have, because this is something I'm working really hard on right now. In not comparing to what you did before and just letting yourself be where you're at right now, and knowing that you're gonna build that momentum as you get really consistent again, if you've not been up until this point. But I picked up this book at some point last year. Has anybody read this? Go for No for Network Marketing. Anybody? And ironically enough, then I didn't resonate with it at all. Like, I did not want to read it. And I just happened to pick it up last week and kind of started flipping through pages, and I'm loving it because it really talks about refining the mindset that it takes to be in network marketing, and how successful you will be depends on your ability to not get emotionally attached to the outcomes when you're inviting people, as in like you're inviting and going for no, ultimately knowing that it might just not be the right time, or maybe they don't understand the value. And in that, there was something that you said about like planting the seeds, and there was a quote in there that said, you can always count the number of seeds in the apple, but you can never count the number of apples in a seed. Meaning, like, if you keep planting those seeds, you never know which one is going to grow and just, skyrocket into something. The person who's been saying no to you for 3 months could be your next rock star coach. The person saying no to you could end up signing up next month and totally transforming their life and losing 70 pounds and becoming a totally different person, right? You just never really know how the seeds that you're out there planting are going to come into fruition over time. And this business doesn't happen where it's a direct, outcome of the work that you're doing right now. You just have to trust that if you're consistent, that compound effect is going to kick in for you and come back around. And really stressing the importance of follow-ups right now too. I'm working really steadily through a lot of people that have said no to me in the last, year, to go back and let them know about the promo right now, about, diving into their wellness journey and not waiting. Because the thing is right now, can anybody say that they're getting a lot of objections about the holiday and about like money and like it's Thanksgiving next week? Because I know that can get kind of defeating sometimes, where you're like, Jesus, like I've been inviting so many people and everybody just has crazy excuses right now. If that's you, you're not alone. I'm spending a lot of time in conversations right now, really working to help people overcome what it is that they believe as a reason they can't. And a lot of what that's going to be right now during the holiday season is reassuring them that they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to crush their fitness, but getting fitness in a few days a week is better than none. Eating better overall is better than just eating your way through the holidays and feeling completely lethargic and like shit and uncomfortable in your own skin, right? And I'm finding that people are a lot more responsive when they know that they don't have to come into this right now attempting to be perfect as we head into the holidays, and just knowing that this is going to help them have more energy, feel more confident, and feel better. And they're going to be starting to get in those consistent habits that once the new year rolls around, they're not like a newbie where they're learning. They already kind of have the feel and they'll be ready to crush it then. And that's just kind of how I'm talking about it in conversations. And I'm getting a lot more responsiveness when I go at it with that angle than if I'm just like, we're starting this and you have to be all in and like no mashed potatoes and gravy, because like that's not realistic. Nobody wants to do that. And it's really helpful if you just kind of ease people's fears and apprehensions and let them know that it doesn't have to be that way, but doing something is better than doing nothing and just continuing to wait, right? I also wanted to stress the importance of using the feel, felt, found approach. Does anybody use this? I think a lot of you probably do. But it's magical, the response you get when you don't just like say, no, you shouldn't feel that way, but just like empathize with someone of like, I know how you feel. I felt that way too. Like I was terrified to like start something and fail. But here's what I found. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up and doing something better than I'm doing right now. Like taking that leap and showing myself that I am way more capable than I'm letting myself be, and explaining what it is that really shifted for you. Because I find that sometimes explaining the kind of mindset shift you had of where they're at right now to how you're kind of living your life or doing your routine is really helpful as well. And then just like patience with your conversations and your invites and your follow-ups, because you are going to be getting more objections right now. And I think that sometimes when we get objections and we know a holiday is right around, that sometimes we can tend to get pushy or take less time in conversations. And that's not what we want to be doing when the end goal is really to serve people and to help people. And that requires time and patience and thoughtfulness of response on our part. So keep in mind that's important. And then the last thing, bye Laura. The last thing I wanted to say is, like Annalisa was saying, if you're getting money objections right now, to talk about asking as it for a gift. But I was going to say that this is a perfect way to segue into sharing the coaching opportunity when people tell you they don't have money, because the reality is, like, a lot of people are out there that could, like, their lives could totally change if they had an extra $100, $200, $500 a month, right? And what could that do for someone's life or someone's family if they were able to earn some income before Christmas? And give themselves a little cushion from what they have right now. So I think that, you know, showing up and being brave in that responsiveness to that, of not just saying like, I get it, I understand holidays are stressful, it's lots of extra expenses, but saying like, have you ever considered like getting fit and starting your journey and learning how to help other people do that so that you could build some wiggle room for yourself? And you just really never know who will jump on an opportunity like that. So don't, you know, try to remember not to make the decision for people before you offer it.
I also want to add to that, because you just sparked something else that I'm doing too that I want to share with you guys about coaching. So you're working this month and next month to onboard coaches on your team too, because if they start their journey now, like what Dana's saying, if you're reaching out to people and then you start the coaching conversation, or you know someone would be a great coach, or you've spoken to someone about coaching before who's dragging their feet, invite them to join you now to share their story through November and December, because come January, when all their friends are looking at them, they've already been doing it for 2 months, they're going to know they can go to them in January when they're ready to do their 2019 goals. They've been seeing this person for a month and a half now start on their journey and start coaching. And so basically go after coaches this month too. Like, go after coaches, people on your team, people who you know would be great on your team. Get them started by sharing their journey November, December, and get ready to rock in January with people knocking on their door for New Year's things.
Yeah, and I want to tag team on that, because I think it's so important, is that I think a lot of new coaches think like, well, what's the point? Nobody's going to be into that right now. And like you said, like building the trust and building that journey and that transformation so that when the time comes around, you can crush it in the beginning of the year while you're new coaches. But also that this is like, you know, when you're a new coach, you don't learn the basics overnight. Like, you don't learn how to share overnight. You don't learn how to do power hours overnight. Like, it takes a little while to find your groove in the basics, and the sooner they start, the quicker they're going to be ready for the New Year's bang. And that's a really exciting opportunity when you're starting a business.
Yeah, that's awesome, Whitney. Whitney said she has more people interested in coaching than just the challenge right now because of that. It's true. Like, get them started with like, okay, they've got New Year's resolutions. Like, people's mindsets are like, January 1st, I'm going to do something. Well, what if that thing is coaching? Like, cool. Get them on your team right now, because you're going to train them. They've got a learning curve, November, December, and then in January, they can feel kind of confident going into Transform 20 with us and getting a few of their friends to join in the party.
I just wanted to add one last like tiny little nugget, because I was talking to Megan about this today and I was just mentioning it to Bethany. But there's like a stat, and it's like most, like in network marketing, 80% of people stop their follow-ups after the second follow-up. but 80% of the sales happen after the 5th follow-up. And Megan was asking me today, she's like, what should I say to this person? They've just like never responded to me. And I'm like, I don't like, and I'm honest about this. Like, I don't care what people think of me most of the time, unless that I know them very closely. And that's why I do my business page. Cause I don't like really don't care. But I was messaged somebody and I read Megan, like the chain of messages, and it was since July, and they had never responded. And I was just like, hey, new group starting this month. What do you think? And it was all because they had originally responded like with a hand raised to like a transformation photo. And then again today, I was like, hey, I just don't want you to miss this chance. Everything's on sale right now. Like, what do you think? And then all of a sudden she was like, yes, I totally want to do it. And I'm like, okay. So I just want you guys to like, don't be afraid to follow up, and don't be afraid to just, I don't want to say be obnoxious, but at the same time, if someone doesn't want you to talk to them, they will let you know very, very clearly. They will either block you, or they will say like, no, I'm really not interested. And like, you want to make sure that this is more like, I don't like, I'm not saying like go be a pain in the butt, but if you're following up with people in the right way, it'll never be a pain in the butt. And just don't be afraid to follow up. If you see that you've messaged somebody like 2 or 3 times and they haven't responded, give it till at least that 5th time, because that's legitimate. Like, these people who message me back, like every single month, half of the people that I enroll are from like 5 months ago. And it's just that consistent follow-up. So don't be afraid, especially this time of year, like with coaching, with challengers, with everything, like to just continue. I think Mama Poobs made fun of me for it the other day because I like kept harassing her about doing the ultra marathon. She's like, now I know why you get so many people signed up every month. but I'm serious, like, don't be afraid if you're doing it the right way. Just like, so go back to
Seriously,
your July.
you guys should have been on this whole text chain. She was like, no, do it. I felt like I was like peer pressure in high school.
But are you going to do it? Yes.
And you sold Mary Page a challenge back in that same conversation.
Yes, and I made her sign up for an ultra marathon. But no, like, go back right now, like, is a great time to go back to the people from July, from August, September, and like restart those conversations was the whole point of everything I was saying, not to put Mama Poobs under the bus.
No, I agree. I mean, follow-ups are huge. Like Dana said before, like my Success Club points generally come from follow-ups from people the previous month. So it's not to discourage new coaches who are like, I don't have anyone from the previous month. You will have those people. There will be people that jump on that month. Generally, when you start conversations, you invite people, it takes a little while for them to jump on board. I do the same thing Amanda asked, even with your warm market. Yeah, I just speak like I would if I saw them in person. It would be like, hey, like, I know we talked about this before. If it's the right time, perfect. I'd love to have you. If it's not, no skin off my back. I wanted to let you know about this killer deal this month. I'm not like messaging like, hey, are you ready now? Hey, are you ready now? It's like, hey, letting you know. I often say I'm looping back around, wanted to fill you in on what's going on this month in case it's the right time for you to start. Sometimes I say, hey, I know you were interested at first and we sort of lost touch since then. I hope I didn't do anything wrong. And people are like, oh my God, no, you're not bothering me at all. Da, da, da. Just be you, be comfortable, use your voice, and don't be afraid to reach out to people, because when you know deep down that what we're doing is helping them, yes, you're growing a business from it, but when you go into it with that knowledge and belief that I have the tools to change their life. They were interested at one point. They reached out to me for help. They said they were interested. I'm going to keep inviting them because at some point they might be ready. And if I don't invite them again, if I don't follow up, they're going to go to the next coach who does ask them and it is the right time. And that has happened plenty of times to me. Even today, following up with someone, they're like, I joined Beachbody. I'm like, what? But it happens. But, you know, you want to try to nip that in the bud.
Also, too, if I can add as a newer coach, people are all, like, I know all of the more experienced coaches always say this to us, but people are always watching whether or not they're liking or commenting on your posts. I slammed into like a crazy 3-hour power hour today, And I got a lot of people replying like, oh my gosh, no girl. Like I was like, oh, I'm sorry if I bothered you. And they're like, oh my gosh, no, I've been following your story. And, you know, everything is so inspiring. And like one girl was like, I want to be you. And I was like, no, you don't, but okay. And it was just really cool because a lot of like, I'd say about 90% of the people that were saying that weren't people that were liking my posts or anything like that. And then I just had one of my warm market peeps reach out to me via text and be like, hey, are you still doing that Beachbody thing? And I'm like, well, yeah, obviously. And now she's signing up tonight.
I also tried sending a message recently. Actually, I did this twice that went over well with a follow-up when someone just wasn't responding. And because I think a lot of us are dealing with like lots of people with mom brain. So it's a hard group to get to follow up. And I said this like kind of long, funny thing about like, hey, if you're like me, you read messages and then they're marked as read and then you forget to respond. Or if you're even more like me, you respond in your head and not actually like this whole thing. And my aim was to like just remove any shame that they might have felt or awkwardness around like, oh my God, I didn't respond to her. And both people responded with a resounding like, oh my God, that's exactly what happened. They weren't ready to commit to anything, but it got the conversation going. So I think I might keep doing that. Just focus on shame reducing.
I love that idea, Corey.
Yeah. Anytime you can remove awkwardness from, like, if you're feeling awkward, like, that's the time to shoot in there and be like, hey, like, I don't want you to feel like you need to do this or that you have to do this, but, you know, and break it down, like, remove the awkwardness and just be confident in your conversations.
I have one to add to that, and that is sometimes I call myself out and I'm like, hey, like, I really don't want to bother you. So if I am, like, you can just let me know because that's never my intention. But, like, I really do care about helping you with the things you shared about wanting to achieve blah, 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 like whatever we had talked about in the conversation, and just saying, like, I'm just, you know, checking back in once more to see if this is a better time to chat for you. But, like, kind of just throwing it out there. Like, I don't want to be obnoxious and annoying, but I really do want to help you. And I find I get a lot of responsiveness with that.
Are these examples like helpful for you guys when you hear these kinds of things go? Okay, good. Because I'm like, I think that would be helpful for people. Good. Because we could just
really need
for hours and give you all the examples we've got.
We need to just brainstorm all of these and put them all in a document because everybody does it a little different, but they're all so awesome.
I know. Even just like when we do it, just copying and pasting to something shared, a Google Drive or something. It's just remembering to do that.
I have a Power Hour scripts. It's just like really not up to date at all.
Yeah, same. Old examples. We need new, fresh stuff. I've even said, like, depending on the person, like if we've had multiple like lengthy conversations, then one day they just like stop responding and I've messaged 5 times and I'm like, so I think you've ghosted me at this point, but I'm always here for you if you need me. And people will respond, like, just be funny, be you, do whatever.
Another good one is saying, I hope I didn't offend you. Because sometimes you're like, God, did I, you know, if you respond to somebody's goals and you're kind of like truthful and honest, you're like, God, I hope I didn't offend them by being honest about what I think it would take to help them. You know what I mean? And most people are like, oh my God, you never offended. I just like totally forgot to respond.
Yeah, Mary Page suggested having like a running post in the team pages where we can just copy it into the comments or something.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. The other thing, okay, I have 2 short points I wanted to share, and it's 9:30. We've talked a lot about the invite, the products, Transform 20, everything, Shakeology, whatever. I posted in the team page the other day, and I know most of you on this page, and I follow you, most of you on this page, and you guys are doing great things. Just make sure that new coaches on your team understand, like, step away from the product posts and really get vulnerable in their sharing their experience with the products, because it takes the invite from they're just trying to sell me their product to they're trying to share their experience with me. So the less they post about the products and the more they share about their experience, the more people are going to relate. And you guys know that, but just telling your coaches who onboard, like, cut the Shaco selfies out and those kinds of things. Or if they do a Shaco selfie, like it's not in their Shakeology bottle, it's hidden, the name is hidden. They're talking about what they're feeling after drinking it, what it helps them with, curbing cravings, blah, 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 blah. All of that stuff, but just really encourage your new coaches to brand themselves outside of product posts. I've been listening to a lot on branding. I won't go into that. You guys kind of get the idea to do that, but just keep in mind to focus on what makes you, you, what sets you aside outside of every other Beachbody coach out there. And it's not the products. We're all promoting the same product. We're all promoting a different lifestyle or the different components to what those products do for our lives. So be different. And then the other thing I wanted to say is we're thinking about doing a new coach like chat thread sort of. My suggestion is to use like WhatsApp. So new coaches have a place where they can go in and brainstorm and like just connect with other new coaches each month. So it would be something like November coaches get together and have this WhatsApp app where they're like, what are we doing today? What is happening? So new coaches feel more supported on the team and have potentially success partnerships that can form from that. So that's a brainstorm in the making. But other than that, I think we're good. Who in here is pushing for a goal next week? Anyone? Go for it, guys. Go balls to the wall. Use your follow-ups. Follow up with every single person you've ever talked to and use one of those examples that we just talked about. Hey, I'm just looping back to tell you about the promos this month. I didn't know if it was something that you would be interested in. It's the cheapest it's ever been. You guys are doing great in your stories. I'm seeing you guys do it. Keep at it. Don't give up. And vaginas to the wall. Yes, Kelly, not balls to the wall. Go vaginas to the wall. I can always count on you for a random, what's that term in a movie when something funny, I don't know, whatever. Comic relief. I guess that's the term I was looking for. Anyway, vaginas to the wall. I'm going to end there. Go do it. Good night, everybody. Good luck. I'm with you. If you need anything at all, reach out. Huh?
We need a picture.
Oh, I've been boomeranging this whole time.
Oh, but I want one where everyone's smiling.
No, I'm glad you did that.
I thought to do it, people were like,
Mm-hmm. I know. I was probably the only one like, hey, in my. And Ben didn't wake up, so it's a plus because I've been yelling.
Neither did you. Okay, smile.
I'm curious. I've fallen asleep.
Who's taking photos? Anyone? 3, 2, 1. Okay. Good night, everybody. Nice to see you all. Have an awesome night. And next week is Thanksgiving is Thursday, so lots of, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out Wednesday.